think we need to mute. Yeah. So please close your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths. Every time you breathe out, allow the body to relax. Every time you breathe in energy, relax, relax, relax. Just listen to this small prayer. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya. Om Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya. Om Mrityunma Amrutam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Slowly rub both your hands together. Place them on your eyes and open your eyes. So let's start with the session. That's okay. Nobody declared. Yeah. Yeah. I'll welcome you all to the session. So I felt that last time the session was a little bit abrupt, or in the end we had to just rush up. So I thought we need to have do another session so that I can explain more elaborately about how we can try to heal ourselves, or what are the steps that we need to follow to help our body to heal. So before I start, I would like to get some feedback from you, like about the last session. Do you have any doubts from what I spoke in the last session? You can also put some, you can also send me, put it on the chat box, or if you want, you can just unmute yourself and ask the question, or you can just give your explanations. Right. There doesn't seem to be any doubt here. So let me just continue with what I need to talk further. So first, before I start, I want to explain about vitality. Vitality is something which we actually need to understand before we actually try to go further into how we can heal ourselves. So can anybody tell me if they know anything about vitality? Right. So vitality is nothing but the life force that we have. Life force is the Pran Shakti, which differentiates us from the inanimate objects. So the life force that keeps me alive is the vitality that we are talking about here. So this vitality is this Pran Shakti, and this Pran Shakti has been determined in every single human being even before we were born. Like every single person is born with a certain amount of vitality, a certain amount of life force. And this life force is determined even before the child is born. So how does that happen? When the child is conceived in the womb of the mother, the DNA of the mother, the DNA of the father, or the status of health of both the parents will determine the life force that this particular baby is going to be born with. So the life force is limited. Every single human being is born with a limited life force. We cannot do anything to increase this or decrease this, but the only thing is we are going to spend this all through our life, little by little, and the day when the life force is spent completely, that is when the life will end, and the body that remains will be called the dead body. So this life force that we are talking about, as I told you, it cannot be increased, but it is going to be spent. We are going to spend this every single day. So when we talk about this life force is responsible for every single function that the body is undertaking, whether it is breathing, or whether the blood circulation is happening, or whether I'm eating, or whether the food is getting digested, whether if the heart is beating. So every single action of the body is needs this vital energy or this life force for it to happen. So with every action, with every activity, there's a certain amount of life force being spent. So simply like when we are consuming food, whenever the food needs to be digested.
इससे पे शांति करती है ना autoimmune disease conditions का.
Can you please mute yourself, please? Right. So this life force is the most important thing that we need to understand, because without understanding life force, we cannot go further or understand further about how we can heal ourselves. So is it clear until now what I've explained? Does anybody have any questions about the life force? B12 level is less. Okay, we'll get that to sometime later about the B12 levels. For now, we are going to understand about the life force first, about the vitality, because only after you understand what vitality is, we will be able to go further from here and understand how the body can heal itself. So yes, I've got a couple of answers that you've understood about vitality. So we can move from here. So this vitality, whether we are aware or not, every single day there's a certain amount of vitality that has been laid aside for our day-to-day functioning. Like every single day, a certain amount of vitality is going to be used for the bodily functions. You can just understand this with this example. Just imagine if this body is a warehouse, and there are a certain number of employees that are working in this body. So the number of employees is fixed. So if I say like there are just 20 employees who are going to work in my body to take care of all the bodily functions, or these 20 employees are going to be taking care of the work in the warehouse, then this number of people are going to be fixed every single day. So this fixed amount of vitality or this fixed number of people are going to work for the well-being of my body or the well-being of the warehouse. So now this warehouse, like there's very often what we see is like constantly there are inputs happening these days. Like we are eating very often, more often than needed, or we are putting in information constantly. So there's constant inputs of stuff happening from morning till evening. So this limited amount of vitality is going to be spent in processing everything that is going to go inside my system, whether it is the food or it's the information or the pollutants or whatever that's going in, every single thing is going to be processed by the vitality or the number of people that are going to work in this warehouse. So just imagine there's truckloads and truckloads and truckloads of stuff coming into the warehouse. So these 20 people, they have to constantly keep on taking the stuff from the truck and putting it aside into the warehouse. So now these 20 people have to even segregate these stuff. They have to put them in their places, and stuff which is not needed has to be thrown out of the warehouse. But then, if there's constant stuff that is going to be put inside the warehouse, then just imagine what will happen. These 20 people will not have enough time to finish the process. Like constantly they are only downloading stuff. So when the constant downloading is happening, there's not enough manpower left to do the metabolism sometimes completely, or do the segregation sometimes. And sometimes even they don't have enough manpower to throw out stuff that you don't need. So what's happening now? There's a lot of stuff coming in, and there's a lot of congestion happening in different parts of the warehouse. So this is where you need to understand, this is what's happening in our body. There's constant input of stuff happening, whether it is food, or whether it is information, or whether it is the chemicals, or whether it is the EMFs. So there's constant input. So this limited vitality, limited life force, this limited life force Rohit, can you mute yourself? Yes, thanks. So this limited life force cannot finish all the activities that are happening in the system. Like the incoming food, the incoming information is being received, but it might get metabolized, but it might not, the energy might not be enough, the vitality might not be enough to help the unwanted matter to be thrown out of the system. Because even before the action is done, constantly there's a lot of more information coming in, a lot of more food coming in. So there's not enough vitality left behind for the whole process up to the end. So this is where this backlog starts happening in the body, that's happening in the system. Now just tell me, just imagine you have cooked some food and you've put it aside and you've forgotten that food. So if you forget that food for a number of days, what's going to happen with that food? Any idea what's going to happen with the food that you've been put aside?
Getting spoiled.
It will start getting spoiled. So when you don't really have enough time to remove it and throw it out or do whatever it needs to be done with, what will happen is it will start rotting. So the same thing is going to happen in my body with the food that I'm putting in constantly. I'm just feeding this body constantly all through the day, maybe 3 times, maybe 4 times, sometimes maybe 5 times. And it's not just the food that's going in. You see, there's a lot of information going in. I'm either scrolling my mobile, or I'm at least watching something on the TV, or maybe I'm watching something on my system, or maybe I'm listening to a lot of gossip from my neighbor, from my family, from my relatives. I'm getting a lot of information about things happening in others' homes. Or there's constant radiation because there are some towers near my house, or there are lots of gadgets in my house. So there's a lot of radiation there. Or I may have to be taking a lot of medicines. So there's a lot of input happening constantly. So now with this limited vitality that has been kept aside for processing all that's going to go in, do you think every single thing is going to get taken care of by the end of the day? Usually it doesn't happen that way. What happens is by the end of the day, there's a lot of work still pending. There's a lot of stuff that still needs to be processed by the system. And even though that's the situation, we again keep on feeding ourselves with stuff, whether it's food or information, but the feeding is constantly happening. So now this is where this rotting food that we spoke about. So again, in the system, whatever stuff that's going in, again, is going to start getting to get rotten over the time. And as the constant energy is being used up in processing whatever is coming in, there's not enough energy to throw the rotten stuff out of the system. So this is when we start getting the stuff starts getting toxic in the body, because something that is rotting will start oozing out liquid, which is not really good. It'll be acidic, it's going to be smelling bad. So this oozing out toxic stuff is going to get slowly being leached into different parts of my system. First, it's going to enter my blood system. So with the blood, it's going to be again taken to different parts of my body. It's going to be fed to different organs. It's going to be fed to my different cells. So now what's happening is this rotten stuff, this toxic stuff is now circulating all through my body, because the body hadn't had enough time to process and remove the backlog that's happening in my system. But then our body is designed in such a way that it can actually let you know when there's a backlog happening. And this is where we have actually started forgetting. We have started forgetting how to listen to our body. And like the body is capable of giving you signals and signs where it tells you that the body, there's a lot of backlog that's being happening inside the system. You might start feeling that you're not able to sleep the moment you go to sleep at night, or you might feel like there's a little bit of indigestion that's happening. You might start feeling there's this constipation that's happening. So there are different signs that the body starts giving you. Or sometimes the body has some energy available to itself, so sometimes it can also create a process where it is trying to throw out the toxins by creating like it can create a fever in your body. It can also create some cough or cold, or it can also make you feel that you have a headache. So there are these are the different signs that the body is giving you that the body has a lot of backlog that needs to be dealt with. But very often we have actually forgotten how to listen to the body. We have actually forgotten how to read the signals that the body keeps giving us. And this is where the problem starts. Because what happens is, when you're not listening to the body is constantly struggling with processing of the backlog that's happening in the system. And over the time, this toxic matter can start becoming, growing more and more in quantity. It can start reaching different parts of the body, and it can start irritating different parts of the body. In the last session, we had understood, or I had explained about the 7 stages of disease. So this is where, like the first stage, I can simplify those 7 stages of disease in just 3 stages, which is very broadly like, acute kind of diseases, or chronic kind of diseases, or the degenerative kind of diseases. So we can differentiate the diseases in 3 different types. So the first type of health issues are the acute issues, which is actually the body's action to try to throw out the toxic matter out of the system. So when this happens, very often these days, like, we have forgotten that these are the body's cleansing processes, and we end up trying to suppress them by taking medicines or taking some tablets or syrups or whatever. In the we think like we need to give ourselves that respite from the trouble that we are facing. We don't want to go through that experience that headache. We don't want to go through that process of the fever. We don't want to go through the process of the cold or the cough that the body is going to need to go through, experience throughout the toxic matter. So when you have done that, the body does not, it just cannot just keep the toxins in there without uh, without it becoming even worse over the time, because the inputs haven't changed, the inputs haven't stopped. What is going in is still going in constantly. There's no change in that. So what's happening? So there's already some toxic matter in the system and there's more coming in. So there's more backlog happening. So when this toxic matter starts getting more and more and more in the system, then the body has to find ways and methods to try to still survive, because we need to understand one thing. In any given situation, the body is constantly trying to survive. Whatever you're feeding your body with, whatever way you're living, whatever kind of lifestyle that you're giving yourself, even though constant inputs that are happening which are not at all comfortable for the body, even then the body is trying to keep you alive in any given situation. So we need to understand this. The body has been designed to survive like that. So in any given situation, the body is still trying to survive. So what it tries to do is it tries to put the toxins away in different parts. It tries to store in different parts of the body, maybe in an organ, or maybe in some joint, or in some muscles. So that is when you start seeing some health issues in that particular part of the body. For example, people who are suffering with asthma, what's happened is the body has stored the toxins in the lungs. So we are not able to breathe well. There's a lot of mucus being formed there constantly. So there's a lot of congestion. And so you have this health issue called asthma. Whenever the body is trying to throw out the toxic matter, you get the symptoms of having a lot of runny nose. There's a lot of mucus trying to come out through your nose. Or you might also end up having some difficulty in breathing. So when you have these signs, again, this is a way of your body telling you that it is having to deal with so much toxic matter in the system. So even in this stage, if you awaken and if you try to support your body to allow this process to happen and allow the toxins to come out, allow the mucus to come out, then the body can get back to a state of better health. By chance, the toxins are being accumulated in your kidneys or in your heart, or maybe there's a lot of old food still sitting in your intestines for a long time. So there's irritation happening in your intestines. So there can be an ulceration in the intestines. So whichever part the toxic matter is going to sit most of the time, that part is going to show you that it's going to give you signs that it is not in a good state. So in such situations, what usually we do, like usually what do people do in this situation? Like when I'm experiencing some wheezing, or if my blood pressure has just shot up, or if my blood sugar levels have gone up, then what do generally people end up doing? Can anybody tell me that? Usually people go to doctors or take some medicine. And does that medicine help you to live your life without any symptoms ever again? No. So until now, I'm very sure you would have understood why that's happening. Why you are not able to live your life without any symptoms coming back, even when you have taken the medicines. The reason being, the inputs which are actually troubling you, the inputs which are not being processed completely, these are creating toxins in the body, and these toxins are not being able to be thrown out by the system. So they are irritating you constantly again and again in different phases and stages. And what we end up doing is we end up taking only medicines to maintain the status quo. We take the medicine thinking that this way we are helping the body to keep functioning as it is without you needing to stop your day-to-day work, without you needing to take a break from your daily routine. So what has happened is these medicines have only allowed you to live your life as it is without you needing to take a break. So what we feel is like, okay, wow, this is good. Just taking one pill every single day is allowing me to live normally, is allowing me to function normally, and I don't need to take a break, and my life is going on fine. So this is where we make our second major mistake. Because now what's happening? The toxins are already there, accumulated in different parts of the body. So there are certain parts which are actually letting you know that they are not comfortable because there's a disease there. There's a discomfort there. But there are different parts of the body again which are still handling the toxins, but the body has not yet given you an alarm, or it has not yet let you know that it is not in a good state. See, with time, with over the years, what happens? First, somebody may start with a diabetes. After some years, he may see that he has even blood pressure. And even after some more years, he may see that the kidneys are not functioning as well as they are supposed to. So one after the other, different parts of the body start giving you an alarm that I am also flooded with toxins now. Do you understand the gravity of what's happening in the body? So this is happening, and as I told you, the body is giving you signals. The body keeps telling you at every single situation that there's a lot of toxic backlog happening. The only thing is we fail to see or read those signals. If we were in nature, just like every other creature, like the animals and the birds, I'm sure even we would have been able to understand or read those signals. We were actually able to read those signals until some years back, until some years, or I can say maybe a century or 2 centuries back. Until then, we were still way much in a better state where we could actually understand the symptoms that the body was giving us. And we had ways and methods that the indigenous, the people could follow on their own, because there were certain practices in the families which were already happening, where people knew, like whenever there's a particular signal that's coming up from the body, they knew what to do. Like if there was if somebody was experiencing fever or indigestion, they knew that they just need to put that person into rest for some time. They would miss a meal, they would miss meals, continuous meals, and allow the person to rest until the body could recover. So we had this knowledge some time back, but since we have been started being bombarded with a lot of information, or we are being educated in the wrong direction by different agencies, what's happening is we are being misled. We are being told, like even if there's a small issue that you see in your health, you immediately need to go and see a doctor, or you immediately need to take something to suppress is the word that I would use, but for you, generally for the general public, it would be like, to keep yourselves without the discomfort, just to hide that discomfort for the time being. So this is how we keep making mistakes on mistakes on mistakes, and like we keep on ignoring the information. We constantly keep ignoring the signals of the body and end up having some problem or the other. So these problems are what we call as dis-ease, right? Because the body is not in a state of comfort. The body is in a state of discomfort. The body is constantly feeling not at ease. So this is why we call it as dis-ease. So when you are experiencing this disease, it's very important that we wake up and we try to look into, why am I suffering? Why is this happening? So only when you really wake up and try to look into why this is happening is when you will actually take the step or the action that is needed to heal yourself. So, okay, now by chance you haven't even paid attention to your body, even when the body has reached the chronic stage of disease, then what happens? The constant input of the medicines and the wrong kind of inputs that are happening constantly all through the day and day in and day out, what happens is the body gets overwhelmed by the toxins that the body has accumulated. And this is when sometimes there's just so much of toxic matter in the system that the organs start failing. The organs start to reduce their functioning, the day-to-day functioning. So this is when you can start experiencing like the heart has got some blockages, or the kidneys don't function too well anymore. So when this is happening, this stage is what we call as the degenerative state. Like at this stage, the body seems to have actually started its winding down process, because now it knows like this process is not going to stop anymore. The toxic inputs is going to happen constantly. So there's no way that it is going to be like this body is going to be able to get a respite from the toxins. So it needs to now shut down. So this is when you see you experience even the degenerative state of dis-ease or discomfort. So one such degenerative state of your health is nothing but this autoimmune disease. So you have in this autoimmune disease, you have different kinds of symptoms, different kinds of names that you can see, even like hundreds of diseases that can be named here. And the symptoms seem to be like in different parts of the body, different kinds of symptoms, but then they are all categorized under the name autoimmune, because here it's like it looks as though the body is attacking itself. But we need to understand the body is not attacking itself. The body is actually overwhelmed with the toxicity that it needs to deal with. The body is really finding it very difficult to handle this toxicity now. So when this quantity of toxins has gone up too much, then the system is so acidic that it actually starts destroying the cells around wherever it is. So this is where you feel like the body is trying to destroy itself, but it's not the body that's trying to destroy itself. It is the acid or the acidity or the toxicity that's been collected in the system that has actually started to destroy stuff around. For example, if there's something very toxic or very strongly acidic that you've got, and if you just put it in a maybe a metal vessel or something, then you can see that it starts corroding. So that's what is actually happening in our body also. The body is corroding because of this high level of toxicity. So now, what are usually we end up doing in this stage? What do you usually do in this stage? Like people actually end up taking medicines, or the doctors usually suggest that you need to suppress your immune system so that the body does not destroy itself. Now, first thing, there's no such thing as immune system in our body. It's only our vitality or the life force that is doing all the functioning of the system in the whole body. So this vital force or this vitality is constantly trying to help the body to live on even in the high toxic situation. And so it needs to, just to dilute the acidity, it has to maybe just destroy the cells around it. So this is when like you feel it looks as though the body is actually trying to harm itself. But then what do we need to do in this situation? We actually need to help the body or assist the body in allowing itself to remove this toxicity, remove this toxic stuff, backlog that has happened, the toxins that have actually flooded your whole body with. So somehow you need to help the body to remove these toxins from your system. There are some questions coming in. Let me take a look at them. What can be done if we have nose blockage? Okay, that's a very simple question. We are talking about something way much serious here. So what I'm going to talk about, like the system by which we are going to help the body to detox is again going to help you to remove the blockage in the nose too. So yes, there are questions about how to reverse thyroid and okay, we are treating symptoms. True. Okay, so these are the questions which I think I'll be looking into as we are going to, as I'm going to take this forward. So we can just keep continuing. Does anybody have any doubts until about what I have spoken until now? So if there's clarity, then I can move forward from here. Any doubts in whatever I have spoken until now? No doubts? Good. Right. So now when there's lot of this, when this body has been started with being flooded with toxins. Now first, let me explain to you what are the reasons that are actually causing this flooding. So one thing I'm sure you would have understood is the food, because the number of times we are eating these days is just too many times. Like now everybody can afford having food around so much that we can always keep ourselves stocked with a lot of food, and whenever we feel like we can eat anything and everything. So how many times do you eat at home? Can you just tell me in the chat box? You can just put the number of times you eat at home from morning till evening. Two times. Awesome. Anyone else? Three. Superb. Anyone else? Four. Perfect. Anybody else? Fine. Let me just take this ahead according to the hunger. That's even better. Okay, let me just take this ahead from here. So what I have seen is, and generally in most of the families, what I see is like people when they wake up first thing in the morning, first thing they'll have their tea. And very often I've heard like people don't like to have the tea without just on an empty stomach. So they need to have some biscuits with it or some snacks with it. That's how the day begins for most people. And after that, the next step comes like it's a breakfast time. So then next it's time for breakfast. And after the breakfast, by 11 or something, sometimes people would like to have some mid-morning snacks because there's a little bit of hunger there and it's not your time for lunch. So after that, what happens? Then it's lunchtime, so people have lunch. And again at 4, it's time for tea. So again, there's a cup of tea along with some more snacks because tea should not be had on its own. You need to have some snacks with it. And after that, then it's dinner time. And sometimes, maybe even after dinner, some people would like to have some fruits or something. So I have seen families who eat as many times as I've just mentioned now. So now just tell me, if you're going to constantly feed your body so much, and if you are already feeding your body so much, and when we know that this food is what is giving us energy, then why do we always lack energy? When you are constantly feeding your system with so much of food, and the food is really good quality food because we all can afford good food, right? None of us, most of us here are not at all in a state where we can't afford good food. So just because we can afford it, we can have it as many times as we like. So many people actually are eating as many times as I've just mentioned just now. And when you are feeding your body so many times, the body does not have enough time to process the food that has already gone in And even before the processing has happened, there's more food coming in. There's more food coming in. There's more food coming in. So what's happening? The body does not have enough time. The body does not have enough space, or the body does not have enough energy left for processing what's coming. Now, this is just about food, and there are many other things that are going in. So this is about the food. And what are the other things that are going in and constantly being fed to the system, which can lead to toxicity of the body? One of the major reasons which we have seen that has led people to reach the state of autoimmune stage is vaccinations. The just born babies who are being vaccinated, the way these babies are growing now, like every child is actually suffering from something or the other, even from childhood. Like the children I see nowadays are so very much different from the kids that I used to see when I was a young child. The kids then were way back then were way much different from the kids today, because every child is vaccinated now. So every child is starting its life with some impairment in the body or the other. So just because the symptoms in every child is different, nobody is able to connect the dots. That is where the body starts dealing with chemicals, the heavy metals that have gone in along with the vaccines. The body needs to constantly deal with it. So this is the reason why you can see like small children, like 1 out of 30 kids at least, are ending up having autism. So autism is nothing but the result of a vaccine that the body has to deal with. So there are many other symptoms, there are many other health issues that kids face. Like there are young children who face type 1 diabetes from their childhood. Like I've seen some small young children who are actually facing with type 1 diabetes, even from a very small age. So now you can get this question in your mind. This child has not even eaten so many meals to really reach the stage of disease, right? Somebody is unmuted. Can you please mute yourself? Yes. So like small children are starting to face this diseased state. And it's nothing but a direct result of the vaccines that every child is given the moment the child is born. I've had kids, babies as young as 4-year-olds, 3-year-olds being brought to me in the state of with autism, or kids suffering from ADHD. And that happens, like people get such children to me, bring such children to me only when they realize that it is the vaccine that has caused this damage in their child's body. Sometimes the parents do a lot of research, they try to find out the reason, and ultimately they get to realize it, like it's because of these vaccinations, or because of some medicine, or because of some chemical that has gone into the brain of the child and it's affecting the child. And then they end up coming to a nature care practitioner to get some help. But most people don't even know that these the cause behind all these health issues in the small kids is nothing but the vaccines that have been injected into a just born baby's body. See, vaccines have existed in our in this world not more than 100 or 150 years. But humanity has been existing on this earth for centuries and centuries and centuries now. So if we had survived all these centuries, why can't we still survive from now, even in these times? We can. I can give you examples where there are kids who are not vaccinated and are still very much healthy, and they actually function differently. The types of health issues they get are so much different from the other kids. My kids are not vaccinated. My siblings were not vaccinated. I was the last child to be vaccinated, I guess. But after that, my father came to understand about this natural lifestyle, and he did not vaccinate his other kids. We are 7 siblings, and I'm the third. So every child born after me is unvaccinated. So, and there are many such kids who are not vaccinated and who are actually living a way much healthier life than the other kids who are being vaccinated. And just because every other child is vaccinated around you, you don't see the difference between a healthy child and an unhealthy child, between a child who's suffering constantly from one problem or the other, and the other child who's not really facing as many problems as the other. But yes, both the kids are going to have fevers, both the kids are going to have different symptoms where the body is going to try to throw toxins down out, but the way the body is going to handle it is going to be different in both the kids here, the vaccinated kid and the unvaccinated kid. So that is the first input that has gone wrong into the child's body, which actually loads the child's body with so much heavy metals and chemicals that the body has to constantly deal with it. And whichever part that toxin is going to lodge itself is the part that is going to face the health issue. So that's where the toxic input begins. And then comes the food which is mostly laden with a lot of chemicals, like which are highly processed, which have a lot of preservatives in them and colors in them, or lots of additives in them. So all these chemicals are something which the body cannot handle. The body cannot process so much of chemicals constantly. And as I told you, the inputs are happening so much constantly that the body does not have enough time or space or energy left to process all this. So all this is again staying inside the system all the time, and this again is the reason for irritation that's happening in your system. And the next is the vaccines, the COVID vaccines. There have been clients that I've seen who have had symptoms just a couple of months or a month or two after the vaccines, the COVID vaccines. So whatever the vaccine is, or any kind of vaccine, is not right for the human system, because even without the vaccines, all the other creatures out there are existing and living a perfectly healthy life. We have lots of monkeys walking around in our area here. So during COVID, I used to wonder, like, our house was put under quarantine because my son had just traveled from Singapore airport. So he had flown in from Singapore. So the government thought like he is going to get COVID, and so they put us in quarantine. But then my son did not even get a fever or flu or anything. But still, I was just finding it very funny. Like, I'm throwing out all the peels and stuff from the house, and I would just put them in a bin and keep it behind my house out in the open, because I usually put them in my garden for decomposing, for composting. But then once what happened, like for 2 days we hadn't actually composted the fruits and stuff. They're just monkeys who came, they just toppled the bin and they're taking the fruits from in there, they're eating. And it just made me think, like these monkeys are eating fruits which are stale, which have been there since 2 days. And they are not falling sick, they are not having a fever, they are not having a cough or a cold. They are just perfectly running around, having fun. And next day, again, they are back here to look for more fruits. So why is it that they haven't fallen sick? And why is it that human beings, like due to like this COVID, like every other person was seeming to be having fever or all the symptoms of COVID, whatever. So the reason was nothing but our body is already holding so much of toxic stuff inside that the body has to find ways to remove all these toxic stuff from inside, right? And the monkeys or the wild animals who are out there, they're living their life exactly the way nature has designed them to for function or survive or eat. So when they are living as per the laws of nature, their bodies are able to even process 2 days old or rotten fruits, or fruits which have been put together and which have been lying there around for 2 days. They are still perfectly fine with it. But we human beings, if we eat something which is a little bit contaminated, the body is in a state of havoc. Like we are food poisoned, we have loose bowel movements, and you immediately need to be taken to the hospital, you need to put it under the saline, and all the other complications. So this is it. Like this is where we need to understand, like we have, externally we live a very clean and a very hygienic life, but internally, have we ever looked into our bodies and have we ever checked whether we are clean from inside or not? We are not, because there's a lot of toxic matter that's being circulated in the system, and that is the reason why there's these infections that are happening. And now I would like to explain a little bit here about the infections. What are these infections? Like, what are these germs that go into my system and cause havoc in my body? Like, what is it that's causing this havoc in my body? These germs are nothing, like they are actually not tiny creatures that are entering my body from outside, but actually my body is, these germs are created by my system when there's something decaying in my body. These germs are created so that it can start eating into that decaying matter and clear it away so that my body can function normally. I can give you, I can explain this with another example. When you have put some food aside and forgotten it, after some days, if you open the food, what do you see there? You can put it in the chat box. You will see mold, right? You see fungus, you see mold. By chance, you didn't even open the food and didn't check for some more days. What's happening? Insects or worms. Perfect. Exactly, this is what is happening inside my body, because nature has designed every single thing this way. Like anything that's alive, anything that's been that has life in it, if it has, if the life force has left that body, if the food that has been cooked, because the life force is gone, now it is a dead stuff, dead food. So now it is just staying there without any purpose. So if it is going to stay there for a longer and longer time, it is going to create something from inside so that it decomposes, it starts breaking down, and it is again taken back to a form wherein it can go back to nature, and all the elements in it can go back to nature in their normal, in their basic forms, for again they can reach a state where it can be reused for other purposes. So this is the function of the germs that we think are actually coming from outside in the system. The body is actually decaying from inside. There's a lot of stuff that is decaying inside. So that's where the germs are created by the body, so that it can eat up all those old stuff, old food, and it can clean it away, and it can allow the body to get back into a state of good health. So that process can be a little bit taxing for us, because it's not very comfortable to go through a typhoid or malaria or any kind of those different fevers or different health issues. So it is, the body actually goes through some suffering, but then you have to go through it because you hadn't allowed the body to throw away the toxins beforehand. So now you have to allow the body to do this full major cleanup, and you just need to support it to do this whole cleanup. So now let me go a little faster here. I think there's not much of time. Just a moment. Right. So these are the different inputs that are actually causing trouble. Yes, all the chemical stuff that you're putting on your skin, all the sunscreen or whatever creams and lotions or whatever that you are or the makeup stuff, whatever you're putting on your skin. The skin is one of the major organs of the body which has lakhs and lakhs of pores, and whatever you're going to put on your skin is going to enter your bloodstream directly.
Mhm.
So whatever chemicals you
Mhm.
have put on your skin is going to enter the bloodstream directly. So constantly, if you're going to use these chemical products every single day, day in and day out, then you're constantly feeding your body with chemicals. And now the body cannot handle these chemicals constantly every single day. So this again is going to add to the toxic load, and the body is going to struggle with this toxic overload. So, right. Yes, and there's another thing that I need to mention here: the dental fillings, or the root canals, or the fillings that are being used in your dental work. They can also leach out constant toxins, which can again be one of the reasons for your body to go into a state of autoimmune. Whatever chemicals or medicines that you're taking over the years, trying to suppress the diseases, even they can be leading to the state of constant irritation in your system. So the inputs can be just anything. The reasons can be just anything. The constant EMFs, the electromagnetic fields that we are constantly living in. So any of these can be the reasons for the irritation that's happening in the body. But the ultimate thing is the toxins that the body is holding, or the old stuff, the unprocessed stuff that the body has to deal with. This is the reason why you are ending up in a state of autoimmune disease. Now, what are we supposed to do to help the body to detox? Because this is the most important thing we need to understand. What can I do by which I can help my body or support my body to help these toxins to be thrown out? The first thing you can do, yes, how to detox. I'm going to talk about how to detox from all problems, okay? Not just one kind of autoimmune disease. I'm going to talk about how you can detox yourself or heal yourself from any kind of disease that you might be facing. The first thing that you can do is you can change the kind of food you are eating, because the food that you're going to eat is going to take up most of your energy to process itself. So when you're eating some cooked food, what's happening is the body is needing to at least process it for 4 to 5 hours in the stomach itself, because there are so many things that have gone into that food. Like your one thali is not just one thing that you're going to eat. It's going to be wheat, it's going to be rice, it's going to be dal, it's going to be different veggies, there's going to be a lot of spices, oil, and whatnot. So many things have gone in. It's a hodgepodge, it's a great mix-up. And now the body, and it is dead again. So the body, when it gets this kind of food, it needs to secrete different kinds of enzymes to break down different kinds of foods that have gone in. So it will take at least 3 to 4 to 5 hours to sorry about that. Yeah. Just a moment. Yeah. So first thing is we need to stop the kind of food that we are eating, because the dead food is going to take up too much of your energy, because after those 3 or 5 hours in the stomach, it is going to be moved into your intestines, and the intestines are 22 feet. The small intestine is 22 feet and the large intestine is 6 feet. So now this food will slowly move through the intestines, and as this food is dead, it cannot move on its own. It needs to have more food coming in to push it out. So what's happening is constantly there's food that's coming in that is trying to push out this dead food slowly. So now the whole of your intestine is having a backlog of lot of food. So now when this food is going to stay in your system for a long time, as I've already told you, there's a lot of decaying that's happening in your intestines, and then that leads to different kinds of health issues. So you need to stop eating so much of cooked food. It's better you start eating lots of fruits, veggies, green leaves, tender green leaves, so that the body does not have to spend so much of energy processing it or getting the nutrients it needs from it. So when you're eating fruits, the body does not have to take much time, because the fruits, the vegetables, they'll carry their live enzymes in it And the live enzymes, the moment they enter the system, they are recognized by our body, and the body knows that this is the food that's coming in. And the live enzymes, they're able to recognize each other. And so the right kind of enzymes are secreted to break down the food and process it and move it further. So the day you eat fruits, you will see that the minute you've eaten it, like maybe within an hour or two, the stomach is empty. The stomach is empty and you start feeling empty again. So that shows that the body does not spend much time and energy on processing fruits or vegetables or greens. So when it reaches the intestine, as it has its live enzymes in it, it is able to move on its own because it has a lot of water and it has also a lot of fiber. So it does not have to be pushed by some more food that is coming in. So it is able to move through your system, through your intestines fast, and it can go out of your system fast. So it does not have to sit back and decay. Even if it sits back and it decays, it is not going to give out the kind of toxins that a cooked food is going to give out. So it is still way much better when you're consuming fruits and vegetables. Okay, so that's about the food. And try to remove all kinds of chemical inputs, whatever you are using, as much as possible. If you are able to remove everything, that's the best you can do for yourself. Try to use all nature-based stuff which your body can actually accept. Yes, there can be situations where you will feel that the raw veg is not suiting you. Then you have to eat fruits which are more suitable for your body. So in the initial days, you'll have to do some experimenting and see what's working for you. And the best is, I would suggest, is if you can take the help of some practitioner who can guide you step by step through the process. Because when the detox happens, the body takes its own time. It detoxes in different phases. So there can be periods when you can feel perfectly fine, healthy, and hale and healthy. And you might feel like now you've been cured completely, but no, the body takes its own time to conserve its vitality, and again it's going to create some situation where the body is going to detox. The detox is going to happen in phases. So you need to go through all those phases to actually help the body to detox completely. How do you know whether you are completely detoxed or not? See, the detox happens in reverse. Whatever has gone in, the last will go out the first. So slowly, as the body is detoxing in different phases, you will see, like there have been clients who have told me, after being on this lifestyle for maybe a year or maybe 8 months or maybe 1.5 years, what they have experienced is they had experienced a fever or a major detox, wherein they actually could smell the medicines that they had taken as kids. An asthmatic patient, he had lung cancer, and when he was detoxing, after 1.5 years of being on this lifestyle, when he was detoxing, when he had this fever, and he could actually smell the syrup that he was taking for his asthma as a 6-year-old. He could smell that syrup for a couple of days. So this is a clear sign that the body is not able to process the chemicals that you're putting in the name of medicines or whatever. It just stays inside your system. It is just kept aside in certain spot where it does not disturb the day-to-day functioning. But these chemicals keep on staying in there and creating some irritation for your system. So the body detoxes even the medicines, the toxins, or the vaccines that you have put into your system on day one also. So even that can be thrown out by your body. But the only thing is, you need to give your body that time, that space, that energy should be made available, that vitality should be made available, so that it can actually help the body to throw out this toxic matter. So this is how it happens. Like every single chemical that's gone in will be thrown out. And that is when the body is going to start feeling comfortable again. The body is going to be able to breathe freely again, function freely again. So the next is the chemical inputs that I was talking about. And if you have done some dental work, try to remove the toxic matter which is sitting in there and constantly leaching chemicals into your system, poison into your system. So try to remove that also. and try to reduce the EMFs as much as possible. Try to spend time in nature as much as possible. As I was talking about the 9 essentials the other day, spend time in nature as much as you can, because the more you are going to be out there in nature, connected with nature, walking barefoot, connecting directly with the soil, getting the radiations directly from their source, your body is actually going to be able to thrive, because it is going to help your body in breaking down the toxins faster and allowing the body to throw it out faster, because the body has been designed like that. The moment it is connected with the source of energy, the sun's radiation, the radiations from the cosmos, the magnetic energy from the earth, the fresh oxygen, or the fresh air that you're going to breathe, so, and the fresh water that you're going to get through the fruits, all these are the most important foods that my body needs to thrive or survive on. So the moment I'm going to connect with myself with nature, the body is going to make use of all those radiations, all those energy inputs to break the toxins down and throw it out faster. So that will reduce the workload on my vital force, because now my vital force can be used for some other more important work, because the breaking down has been supported or initiated by the energy that we are going to get directly from the universe or from the nature. So this is where you need to connect with nature as much as possible, learn nature as much as possible, and sleep. Sleep is something which is very, very important that I need to talk to you about. The moment the sun has gone down, our body actually wants to shut down. Our body does not want to do any work at all. If we did not have electricity, all of us would be in our beds sleeping even by 7 o'clock. Don't you agree with me here? So if we didn't have the electricity, if we didn't have the gadgets working, we would have been sleeping in our beds happily. And this is how our body was designed to be, because the moment you sleep, the moment the body goes into a state of 100% rest, relaxation, this is when the body's all the vitality that the body has is going to be used to clean every organ, to clean every system, and try to remove the toxins or the old matter that the system has accumulated all through the day from the inputs that have gone through into the system since morning till evening. So it's going to have that time and energy available to break down or collect the stuff which the body doesn't need anymore, to move it to its irrespective exits and then throw it out. And if we are going to sleep all through the night, maybe from 7 or 8 in the evening, which is, I know, not even imaginable, like you can't even imagine going to bed so early. So just try to make it as early as possible, maybe 9, maybe 8:30, and maybe 9:30, or 10 at the most. But the earlier you're going to go to bed, the better the body is going to have enough time to do the detoxification that it needs to do. Because what we have seen is like the sleep that you're going to get before 12 p.m., 12 a.m. in the midnight, that sleep is actually the most important part of your sleep, or that is when the body is going to do the major cleaning. Like I've read somewhere in one of the old age cure books that 1 hour of sleep that you're going to get before 12 in the midnight is going to give you the rest or the amount of detoxification that a body can do in 2 hours. And from 12 midnight till 3 a.m., 1 hour of sleep is going to give you the amount of rest that or detoxification that your body can do in 1 hour only. And from 3 to 6, it is going to be 2 hours of sleep doing the work of 1 hour of sleep. And after 6, whatever amount you're going to sleep, it is only going to add on to your backlog, because the body is not designed to be in a state of rest after 6 a.m. in the morning. So if you're going to sleep very early at night, you will see that you actually wake up way much early in the morning, even before the sun has risen, just like every other creature out there. Every creature is awake before the sun has risen. You can see there's a lot of cacophony on the trees, a lot of birds singing on the trees. The animals are moving around. Like the nature is actually in a very happy state because it's going to welcome the sun into the world. So only if you are awake at the time, you're going to experience this. And even we human beings, when we go out in nature at that time, we get a lot of the best quality of air that your body is going to need, and the rays of the sun that's going to be coming out. It's going to feed your body and is going to switch on your body for all the functioning that's going to happen all through the day. So this is how we are supposed to be waking up, like way much before the sun has risen. But that's only possible when you have gone to bed way much before midnight. So sleep is very, very important, which is actually compromised a lot by everybody these days. Everybody is ending up sleeping late. Everybody thinks, like most people think, like 8 hours of sleep is enough. So maybe if I sleep at too early in the 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe if I sleep till 11 a.m. or 12 a.m., then I'm going to get those 8 hours of sleep. So that should be perfectly fine, because at night I'm able to function better. I'm able to work better because there's nobody to disturb me. But all this thought is not supporting your circadian rhythm of your body, and so that actually throws your body into a situation of chaos. So sleep is that important. You need to sleep as early as possible. If you are actually suffering from an autoimmune disease, try to see to it that you have enough sleep at night. Sleep as early as possible. Try to create your life in such a way, design your life in such a way that you have enough time to get a lot of rest, because only in the state of rest is your body going to do the major detox. This is when the body is actually going to break down the toxins and start removing them layer by layer. So do not compromise with your sleep. See to it that you can sleep as early as possible every single night. And the next thing that is very important for your body to detox is movement. Our body has 206 or 8 bones, and we have so many muscles. The body is designed in such a way that we are supposed to be mobile most of the time. We are not supposed to be sitting at all. If just imagine if we were out there in nature, if this civilization wasn't existing, then how would you have been living? We would have been walking all through the day, trying to look for our food, or try to protect ourselves from any animals or any natural calamity. So we would be walking and walking and walking, moving around, climbing the trees, trying to pluck the fruits from the trees or swim across the river. So constantly we would have been in action. So this is why our body was designed in such a way that when you are moving different parts of the body, every single muscle that you're going to move is going to help some toxin sitting below that muscle in your lymphatic system to move towards the glands, which are going to take them further towards their exits. So movement is very, very important. The way we are working or functioning these days, most of the people are just doing a set number of movements every single day. Some parts are overused, some parts are underused. So this is where the major imbalance is happening, and the body is not able to throw out the toxins because all your muscles are not in action every day. So movement is very important. Try to do some movement every day wherein the whole body, every single muscle is being moved. So the best kind would be either doing yoga, different kinds of yoga, different kinds of asanas every day, or maybe you can go for a swim, walk in the garden. The action of farming is like when you're working in the garden, you're using the whole of your body when you're doing different actions. So even that in a way helps your system to be mobile. So that can help you to detox better. So move your body, work with your body, use your body. Your body is supposed to be working constantly, doing some action or the other. So be active. Don't live a sedimentary life. So that's very, very important again. And peace of mind. This is something which is so underrated. This is one of the major reasons why we are so sick these days, because there's so much going into our mind. There's constant input, constant information through different the scrolling that you do, the reading that's happening, or the songs that you're listening to constantly, or the information that's going around, somebody talking to you like if there's some gossip happening. So when you're watching the news, so you are getting so much of information constantly, and there are lots of experiences that you are holding on to from your childhood. There can be experiences that you might be holding on to, some sad experiences, some experiences which you are not able to actually comprehend yet, because you just don't know how to process those emotions that you had experienced as a child or even as a grown-up. So when these unprocessed emotions or information keep on entering your mind, the mind is constantly in a buzz, and the brain's energy or vitality is constantly occupied by this information, and there's not enough energy or vitality available for the functioning of the rest of the system. Like this, the energy is mostly spent in processing or all this information or emotions or memories that we are holding on to. So this is something which we need to look into very seriously. Try to go through your life, try to journal about it, try to write about it, or try to talk to somebody who is neutral when he's or she is listening to you, and you're able to talk about things that you have experienced from your childhood, or situations which still make you unhappy or sad or angry. So talk about it. So the more you're going to talk about it, the more you're going to write about it, you're going to be able to release it from your mind, and the mind is going to get calmer and emptier. The more emptier your mind is going to get, it's going to have enough vitality available to process the rest of the stuff that it needs to process in the body. So try to remove all these toxic information that you are carrying in your system. So again, the peace of mind is very important. If you are not having a very good relationship with anybody in the family or in your friends or with your colleague, somehow try to resolve it. Try to talk it out, try to resolve it. If it's not possible, then you try to move away from that person. But if you can't do that too, if you still have to live with that person, then accept that person as he or she is, so that is not a source of constant irritation to you. So the ultimate thing is, like, you need to remove the reasons that could be of irritation to you. So try to, it's not easy to change every human being around you. It's not. The easiest thing is you may try to change yourself, but you can't change anybody else. So try to accept the person as he is, try to educate him or her to try to change their perspective or their relationship with you. If that's not happening, try to move away. If even that's not happening, then accept the person as he or she is and learn to interact with them or live with them in such a way that it does not cause much of stress to you. Because every reason or every source of stress has to be removed. Only then your body can detox, only then your body can function to its best. Okay, am I clear here? Do you have any doubts until now? Any questions? I think it's time for me to take up questions. We have 10 more minutes. So I'll take up any questions that you have. I think I've explained to a great extent about what you need to do to detox yourself. Yes, the detox will happen in phases. It's not going to happen in one go. It's going to take a long time. It's not going to happen in a very short period of time. So maybe like, see, I've had clients who have actually, like, they have been suffering with the autoimmune state of their body for over 10 years or 15 years. And the moment they start this lifestyle, within 10 days, within 15 days, they see that the symptoms don't seem to be there anymore. So that starts giving them a thought or idea that, okay, now I'm healed maybe. So now I can try to, I've understood everything. I can take care of myself. Yes. And what happens is actually the body, as I told you, detoxes in phases. So it's going to happen in different phases. It's going to take its own time because the inputs that have gone in to irritate you have happened over a period of time. So the body is going to take some, if not all the time, but some time. So you need to give yourself like not years, but at least months together, maybe a year or two. Just a moment. हाँ खुशू अभी चल रहा है मेरा बाय बाय yeah sorry about that. Yeah, so that's what, like the detox is going to happen in phases. So just wait patiently and try to constantly see to it that you're removing any source of irritation in your system. So anybody who wants to ask a question can unmute yourself and ask me, because if I'm going to read into all the questions, then it might take a lot of time. Yeah, Aparna here asks me, like, when you need to resolve the dental implants or the root canal, it's difficult to go to a normal dentist and ask them to do it for you. Yes, you have to look for a biological dentist who has been educated in the system, where they can actually help you to remove these implants and try to support your body with different implants which are not as toxic to your system as the other implants. So you'll have to look for a biological dentist. Any other question here? Any specific way to increase B12? You need to understand one thing. The B12 in our system, it becomes less because when your digestive system has gone haywire, when the microbiome in your digestive system has become unhealthy, that is when your body is going to experience this low level of vitamin B12. So what you need to do is you need to help your intestines or your stomach, your digestive system to declog, and you need to help the digestive system to regrow the healthy microbiome. That's all you need to do, and the vitamin B12 secretion is going to happen normally as it needs to happen. So any single person who has a disturbance with their vitamin B12, try to ask them a question. You will see that every single person is constipated. So that's a clear sign that when your gut is unhealthy, when your gut has a lot of old food that it needs to handle, there's a lot of toxins being created there. So the microbiome, which is the healthy gut bacteria that needs to be there, is done with, and there's unhealthy microbes sitting there. And so the vitamin B12 is not being able to be secreted by your system. So you just need to improve your digestion. That's it. You just need to clean your digestive system. Okay, there are more questions here. If someone has...
Swati, I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah. Menorrhagia during the menopausal period,
Yep.
is it just a body's way of detoxifying, or because I don't want to take any medication, or I don't want to pause it artificially by taking the hormonal medicine, those things.
Right.
So how to handle it? Because now most of my diet is like dairy free, and most of the food what I eat is like vegan, and no preservatives are added. Like just I'm going through the regional, seasonal, and the original foods. So how do I support
I
my
understood
body?
your question. I understood your question. See, every human being every woman who's going through a menopause, what's happening is the body is trying to shut down certain systems which it is not going to have any use for anymore. So what's happening is like there's a resetting that's happening in your body, and when this resetting is happening, the body is also trying to detox because it needs to do some cleaning for itself to reset. So now the body has to struggle a lot because there are a lot of toxins in there. And so that's why you experience all those hot flushes and different discomforts that people experience during menopause. So you're supposed to help the system to detox as much as possible. The moment you help the body to detox, all these symptoms will go away. You don't need to take any hormones to balance itself. The body can do that on its own. You only have to remove all the irritants or the toxic inputs that's going on into your system constantly. You just have to do that. That's it. Yeah. So any
Thank
question?
you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other question there? Any more doubts? Yeah, where to start? When somebody is struggling with arthritis or fibromyalgia, where to start? As I told you, the first thing that you need to look into is your food, because that is where most of your energy is going to be drained. So change your food first. Change it to the more species specific food, that is fruits, vegetables and greens. You start with eating that. The moment you change your food, and then you need to introduce yourself, like you need to spend more time in nature, get enough rest, and introduce movement in your daily routine, and you will see that the body slowly is able to conserve a lot of vitality, and that vitality is being able to be used to remove the toxins or the toxic backlog from your system. Yeah. Is detox also a way to clear fibroids? Yes, detox is the way to clear any toxic stuff that's happening in the body, even the fibroids. Yes. Even if it's Hashimoto thyroiditis, like you give me any name, the system of the cleaning is same, because all the names are different. As I explained from the beginning, we have hundreds of names that can be given to different kind of symptoms that the body is going through, but it's nothing but the body trying to deal with the toxic input that's gone in, the toxic backlog that's in there, the toxins that the body has to handle. So we don't have to do anything from outside for to remove those toxins. We only have to create the right environment for the body, because the body is designed and equipped to keep itself healthy. We only need to remove the things which are causing the trouble. So look into that first. Try to remove all that is creating the toxic environment for the body, and feed the body with the right kind of food that the body is happy to process. Feed your body with the food which is its natural food, which is its original food, which the body can recognize as, yes, this is my food. So feed yourself with that kind of food, and the body does not have to waste its vitality on processing the food that you're eating. And the energy that is going to be saved is going to be used for healing. So whether it is Hashimoto's or lupus or any kind of autoimmune disease that anybody is facing, you only have to create that environment, the most conducive biological environment for the body to thrive in. The moment you create that comfortable space and you make that time and energy available for your body, it starts detoxing. So the body knows how to detox. The body knows how to keep itself healthy. Because as I told you, in any given situation, whatever the input is, whatever you're feeding your body with, whatever situation you're putting your body in, the body is going to constantly try to still be alive. So even after you've eaten so much of toxic stuff, even after feeding your body with so much of chemical stuff, so much of food which is not actually a food, even then we are still alive and we are still doing living every single day. So that is a clear sign that in any given situation, the body is still trying to live on. So you only have to support it by removing things which are creating the obstruction for its thriving. or for its survival or for its healing. So look into that and give it the right food. That's it. I hope that satisfies your question. What is nature cure? Very good question. Very, very apt. Nature cure is nothing but the body can cure itself naturally. So you only have to create that natural circumstance or natural environment wherein the body will do what it needs to do. The body knows how to thrive. The body knows how to grow from a small baby to a full grown human being. So the body knows exactly what it needs to do. You only need to remove things which are not supporting of our survival. So there's a lot of information and misinformation about fruits and their impact on or blood sugar. How does nature cure view this? Okay, good question. Yes, there's a lot of I've actually today there was somebody like who shared a video with me. On that video, like somebody was talking about not eating some fruits or not eating some particular kind of vegetables. He's saying like all this is actually killing people and stuff. Like there's a lot of actually misinformation going around out there. So we need to understand there should be some parameter with which we are supposed to be able to get this understanding whether what I'm eating is the right thing for me or not. So there should be some parameter which can determine this, isn't it? Like either some food regulatory board should be able to tell me, okay, these are the foods that are the right things for you, or there should be some regulatory body to tell me, okay, these are your right foods. You can't trust any of these bodies out there. You can't trust any of these scientists out there. You can't trust any of the companies out there. You just can't trust anybody out there. The only thing you need to trust, the only thing you need to look up to is nature and nothing else. So just look into nature and try to see what could be your original food. When you look into nature, that is when you will actually be able to understand what your original food is. I think I'm going way ahead. The time is already up. So this is a very good question. I would love to talk more on this, about the misinformation that's going on around foods and the sugar levels fluctuating due to the food. So I'll try, hopefully I'll try to do a session next week wherein we'll talk about this particular thing, because I think this is really very important to be clarified so that people can get a better understanding about what is their actual food and what are the different changes that's happening in the body when you eat different kinds of foods, and why it can give you a misconception of falling sick or getting better. So we can take this up for the next session. So any other question there? I've had a relapse. Yeah, so very good question. Here, Mr. Kiran Kulkarni, Dr. Kiran Kulkarni, he says, like it's been 4 years since he did not have any health issues, but now he's experiencing relapse with his arthritis, and it's worsening with time. Even though when you are on whole food plant-based, then why are you suffering from the symptoms? Yes, very good question. So only like when you say you are on whole food plant-based, you have addressed only one part of the whole system. So there are many other things that you need to look into. So try to look into every single aspect of health and see where the irritation is still continuing to happen in your system. So try to identify that and try to address that. So only when you're able to identify the source, you will be able to remove it. So, and yes, whole food plant-based is, again, it can be cooked food that you're eating. So when you're eating cooked food, I said it's again, it is combination of too many things, and it is dead food because you have cooked it. So the body has to spend a lot of energy to process it. So most of your vitality is spent there. So very less amount of vitality is available for the healing to happen. So for a certain period of time, you will have to go 100% raw, so that the body is actually able to save on as much energy or vitality as possible. And that saved energy is going to do the healing and the cleaning in your body. I hope I have answered your question satisfactorily. So yes, I think it's time for me to wind up. So please, you can put your questions in the group, and I'll try to see to it that somehow I try to clarify those questions for you. But if you are actually experiencing health issues, I would suggest that you try to get onto this kind of lifestyle, make these lifestyle changes, make these food changes, and you can help your body to heal on its own. But yes, I can understand that you will need some support here over the period of time when your body is detoxing, because that is when you can get overwhelmed, or you can get into a state of self-doubt. This is when you will need somebody's help to handhold you. So try to reach out to somebody who can actually handhold you and walk you through this journey. According to Ayurveda, raw food increases what? Yes, a very good point again. I would actually like to talk elaborately on this point, because I really love to bring more clarity on this point. That's really very important. So let me take this up in the next session. Okay, so because it's already more than 8:30, it's almost 8:40 now. So thank you so much for your patient listening. I hope this session was of some help to you all. So let's try to do more sessions wherein all your doubts are clarified about this vata, or the misconception around fruits and the sugar levels in the body. So yes, and about the salt too. Thank you so much.